新しい伝説が生まれようとしている。
I am a new, but committed Dragon Quest fan. The last few years, I had this weird thing happen to me where I got a full-time job and I had absolutely zero time in my life to do anything, especially play video games. And during this time, I totally fell out of love with gaming. I had zero interest in video games at all. But slowly, I started to come back around and actually had to force myself back into gaming. I did not enjoy it when I came back, but I knew I needed a hobby outside of watching hours of YouTube on my phone after work. That is the worst. Don't ever do that. I've never loved story-driven games, and that is something that I've said for many years. I love Minecraft, which, as far as I'm concerned, does not have a story. I love Pokemon games, but the story was never what drew me in. It was just the creature collecting and the battling. I even kind of had a thing against it for a while, thinking stories made games less of a game and more of just an interactive movie. But I realized I may have been missing out on some games I'd like if I only gave them a shot. I heard folks singing the praises of JRPGs, and I realized, hey, wait a minute, I love Pokemon, and Pokemon is literally a JRPG, so maybe I'd like other JRPGs too. I had been pretty brainwashed by Donkey, not gonna lie. I just assumed I hated JRPGs, even though I didn't even really know what they were. Love Donkey though, like no hate to the guy. Well, I heard about this series called Dragon Quest, and man, I don't know what it was about it, but something just caught my attention. I thought, shit, I'll give it a shot. So I bought the first Dragon Quest on the Switch and played through it. Yes, my first Dragon Quest game was the first Dragon Quest for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, it was pretty cool, but like, you know, dated, very, very dated. You know, I played through the second Dragon Quest as well afterwards. Again, I'm insane. For some reason, I was thinking I would play through them in order. But, you know, I said at that point, like, okay, this is cool, but screw it. I'm jumping up to the newest one. I'm jumping to Dragon Quest XI. And needless to say, Dragon Quest XI blew my mind, and I think it might be one of the greatest games ever made. All of that is to say that I am new to Dragon Quest, but I already have a deep love and appreciation for it and a spot in my heart for it. Playing Dragon Quest III HD-2D Remake is like seeing an old friend. It's like a hug from your parents. It's a comforting experience, even if you're getting your ass kicked in a battle. And that's already happened a few times to me. When I'm frustrated, I'm having fun. When I'm getting caught in random encounter battles, I'm still having fun. The mechanics and gameplay feel so right that it's hard to really explain. It's just something that needs to be experienced. I'm not super far into the game yet. I started writing this when I was about 2 to 3 hours in, but now I'm up to like 8 or 9. I'm so hooked, man. When I'm not playing it, I am thinking about it. I don't remember the last time a game sucked me in like that. You know, the story is already pretty intriguing. Like I mentioned, I played the first two Dragon Quests, but I did not get around to the third one. So this is my first time actually like experiencing Dragon Quest III. And I'm so glad I'm doing it with the HD-2D remake because it's just phenomenal, man. The pixel art aesthetic is gorgeous. It looks so good. I'm so glad that they're doing this. It's probably the best way to present an old RPG to modern gamers without changing like the base aspect of the game, you know, what makes the game what it is. I really like the fact that you can record conversations you've had in your memory and you can look back at them when you get confused, like, wait, where the heck am I supposed to be going? Also like that you can choose to set waypoints. I've been doing the waypoints because I like knowing where I'm going in a game. I like having clear direction. It can be incredibly easy to get lost in some of these older games, and getting lost can be quite punishing due to random encounters. So having a few things in there just to, you know, make sure that being lost is more difficult, that's a good inclusion. The world is just stunningly beautiful. It's insane. I mean, what they've accomplished here, it's gorgeous. It's so cool that they're doing a remake of the first two Dragon Quests as well. They're doing them in order of like the story. Dragon Quest III chronologically comes first, and then Dragon Quest 1 and then 2. I'm so excited to replay those games in the pixel art, the HD-2D pixel art style, man. Oh, it's gonna look so good. But I find myself just stopping and looking around and just looking at the environment. It looks so good, and I don't think I really ever do that in games anymore, like very rarely. You know, in a lot of ways, this game is just giving me that feeling I used to have when I would play Pokemon as a kid. That sense of adventure and discovery and exploration. I think an HD-2D remake of a Pokemon game would be absolutely incredible and would probably fly off shelves. I'm talking like going back to the pixel art, man. The original sprite work. The millennials and older Gen Z like myself would sprint to the stores to pick that shit out. Is the Pokemon Company scared of money? Are they scared of making money? As in every Dragon Quest game, the music here is incredible, and it helps to immerse you in that fantastical world you're in. I truly feel like Dragon Quest may have the greatest soundtrack of any game series. Yeah, it's easy to criticize Square Enix for just using the same exact songs over and over again, but man, when it's this good, nothing hits quite like opening up the game, getting to that title screen and hearing that na 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 na. When you get into the battle and battle themes, it's like no, wait, that's Pokemon. I can't do. This sounded better in my head. You know, it's kind of funny that I'm saying this when in my Mario and Luigi video last week, I literally said music doesn't really matter in video games. I recognize the irony here. Is that irony? I think that's irony. But the music in Dragon Quest is genuinely one of its selling points. If I went into a Dragon Quest and they changed the music up to some garbage, man, I'd be pretty mad. Dragon Quest has 3 pillars working for it. Pillar 1, the gameplay, courtesy of series creator Yuji Horii. Pillar 2, the character art, courtesy of the late and great Akira Toriyama. And Pillar 3, the music composed by legendary Japanese composer Koichi Sugiyama. These 3 things come together and they complement each other in a way utterly unmatched by any other game series outside of maybe Pokemon. And you know, the game is definitely grindy. Do not get it twisted. Getting anywhere in the world is a challenge. Right when I think I'm doing pretty well, a random encounter battle will wipe out half my team and I'll need to go and spend all the money I just made reviving them. A random encounter. Imagine a wild Pokemon wiping out your entire team. A random freaking encounter. Not a boss. A random encounter. I love the little things here and there, like when you get to this one city that's supposed to be like Middle Eastern and the one shop doesn't actually have prices on it. You gotta ask the guy how much each item costs and then haggle with him to try and get it lower. And he goes on about how you're like twisting his arm and taking food out of his family's mouth. It's like just, oh, it's so cool. You go into this crypt and you pick up an item and then there's like a ghost skeleton guy that appears and he's just like, hey, are you stealing this from me? Like, what's going on? And if you say yes, he's just like, oh, cool, you're an honest guy, huh? And then he just leaves. He just leaves you alone. I was ready for the fight of my life, but my honesty saved me there. I like how the map is based on the real world and your player character and party come from Australia. So every now and then when they like make sounds in, you know, in a battle, that you can hear like their Australian accent. That's pretty funny. Okay, hang on. I'm not actually sure about this. I took a closer look at the world map and like, there's clearly an Australia that's to the left of where you start from. And so the place that you start on is like just a giant landmass in the Pacific Ocean that does not exist in real life, assuming that this smaller island that looks exactly like Australia is actually Australia. So that would mean that that the protagonist comes from some lost, hidden Atlantis continent or something, but for some reason I'm like still fairly certain he speaks with an Australian accent. So I don't know. What were the intentions with this? I don't understand. I am more confused than ever. The game is full of these little touches, and they just come together and they really liven up the experience and make it really just something that you can immerse yourself in. It's also just a great game to do, you know, kick back, throw on some YouTube videos or some TV while you grind away to get to the next area. Maybe throw on a little your selfie got leaked video in the background. Like I said, this is mostly just an initial impressions video. You know, I'm only maybe 10% of the way through the game, something like that, if I had to guess. So I'll probably end up making a longer, more in-depth review at some point in the future. If you're looking forward to something like that, then drop a sub and a like, maybe? Weekly uploads to continue with videos posted on Wednesdays. Next week's topic may be my ideal Switch 2 release lineup. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you being here, and I will talk to you next week. Again, you made it to the end of the video. You know how many people are here at the end of this video right now listening to this? Like, probably 5% of the people that clicked on the video. That's crazy. You're one of, like, you know, 50 people probably watching at this point. Although, that might be a little too hopeful. We'll see. Anyway, again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.